Welcome to another episode of Come to Work With Me. I'm Audrey, and today I'm joined by some very, very cool people from the Wallen and Kilmore Bendigo Community Bank. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we all meet from today, and we pay our respects to the elders past, present, and emerging. And of course, we welcome all the schools that are joining in today. Now, I've got Courtney, Andrew, Kirsty, and Simon joining me today. This is the most people I've had on this before, so this is very cool. I feel like I'm speaking to a lot of people, but it's fine. How are we all today? Good?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Beautiful. Now, we'll start with you, Kirsty. Who are you and what do you do?
Okay, so my name's Kirsty and I am the branch manager at the Kilmore Bendigo Community Bank. I have been with the bank for 14 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a really interesting journey that we're going to have to unpack shortly. Simon, I'll swing over to you next. What's your role at the bank?
So I'm the senior manager for our Kilmore, Wallen and Broadford branches. So I oversee our operations in the local area.
Yeah, awesome. Courtney, now I've got you down as the customer relationships manager. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So,
How long have you been in that role for?
the role is probably coming up to close to 1 year, but I've been with the bank for 4 years.
Amazing. Andrew, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, I'm Andrew. I'm the customer service officer here at Kilmore, which is another name for a bank teller. So I deal with all the cash day to day.
So you got the fun job.
Fun job, all the money. If you need money, come and see me.
I love it. Now, Kirsty, we'll go with you. How important is it for you to be involved in such a large community like ours and get to do what you do?
Yeah, it's so important. Just to work for a company that loves and wants to help the community as much as I do, living in the community my whole life. It's just something that I'm very passionate about. And now I have a 5-year-old daughter. So we have a massive splash park at the Wallen, down at Wallen. And to take her there now, and she tells all of her little friends that my mummy helped put this here. So just that passion and, working for a community bank that loves the community is just amazing.
No, that's fantastic. And we were talking a bit before about you've basically been with the company since you finished high school.
Yeah, so during high school, I worked for the local supermarket here. And I met someone who was working for the bank and she thought it would be a great opportunity for me to get involved. It did take me a little while to get involved, but I was very passionate and I did have a couple of interviews with different branches and used that as experience for when the Wallen branch opened. But yeah, it was a good decision. It wasn't something that I thought about in high school or anything like that. Didn't think I'd be a bank manager one day, but I could see the career and the stepping stone. So I could see it fitting into my future.
Yeah, amazing. Now, Simon, tell us a little bit about the different roles that are involved with, working in a bank. Because usually for someone like me who's, freshly out of high school, they're like, okay, a bank. Yeah, it's not really an exciting job. There's only you stand there and you take the money and you give the money. But there is so much more to it. Give us a little bit of an insight.
So there's lots of different things we can do at a bank. So we're a bank that treats people like people. And very much focused on relationships. So if you love getting along with people and talking to people, it's a great place to work. That's the first point. But we help all sorts of people, and there's all sorts of different jobs you can do in terms of we have kids, newborn children who where their parents want to open a little bank account for them. We got school kids who want to have bank accounts and have a card. Potentially to go and spend their own money from part-time school jobs. And we have people who are buying their first car and we can help them out with that, through to people who are buying their first home or their next home, or they're downsizing and as they move through life, preparing for retirement. So we get involved with people throughout the whole lifetime through all sorts of banking and finance requirements that they have.
I know I definitely bought my first card with Bendigo Bank, and I remember walking in absolutely a sweating mess. I was so nervous. I was just a bit overwhelmed, and I remember getting in, having a conversation. I was like, this is actually cool. These guys are people. They're just like me. Nothing to be worried about. But I definitely remember I was a nervous wreck. It was amazing. And you guys also don't just take care of, the small finances. You also help to fund large projects. Like you mentioned, the splash park at Wallen, but also so much more than that. You sponsor footy teams, you help out small community groups. What are the larger scale funding opportunities that we can do in a community like? Anyone can answer this one.
So the biggest thing I would say is because the bank does put 80% of their profit back out into the community, for us to be able to do that, we do need people banking with us and bringing their home loans, their car loans, their bank accounts and stuff like that. Our board meets, I believe it's every 2 months, and the community groups put in an application. And they tell us, we don't tell the community how to spend the money. The community comes and tells us how they want to spend the money. And then they meet and the board come together, and 9 times out of 10, if they can't help them that time, it will follow on and they'll set something up for the future. So massive deals from, like you said, the splash park at the Wallen High School. We helped many, many years ago to build the indoor stadium there because they just didn't have the stadium there. So there's big projects like that, to helping the men's shed or, the bowling clubs and stuff like that, where they might need curtains or they might need chairs or something little. But the big thing is we ask the community to tell us how they would like to spend it. We don't tell the community how to spend it.
I love that. It really does feel like a big family that you've got working for you guys. You feel like you're just a family. It's gorgeous. Courtney, please just shed a little bit of light on, did you have to do a uni course, a TAFE course? Did you have to do something during school? How did you get into your role?
So no, none of the above. I finished school and I did do a traineeship in accounting. I sort of thought that was the path I wanted to go down. And then probably about 3 years or so I'd been doing that and figured this wasn't for me, but still wanted to do something in finances or something around that. And then, the job came up at the Wallen branch and was obviously local to me. So I applied for that, and I didn't have luck the first time, but came back to the Kilmore branch when there was an opportunity there, and it was successful. So very happy there.
No, that's awesome. And I think a lot of young people don't realize that getting into accounting or banking, like you guys, you don't have to have that uni degree. You don't have to get the highest ATAR to be able to do something that you guys clearly love and enjoy. Andrew, this is a question directed at you. Now, when I think of going to the bank, I definitely think about a lady standing behind, the desk, taking the money, that sort of thing. So when people come into our bank in Kilmore, they're not seeing that lady that, as a kid you may have been scared of. They see your lovely face instead, or with a mask on. So tell us a bit about how it feels to be, a male in a bit more of a female-dominated industry, which is totally different to everywhere else.
It's a good question. Like, it's not really that different, to be honest, because we're all just people. It sounds really corny, but that was a big part of the process of like taking this job for me. Is who was I going to be working with, and what are they like? So it doesn't really make that much difference to me whether they're boys or girls or whatever they identify as. It's just colleagues at the end of the day. So you get some funny looks early on. Some of the older locals are sort of saying, "Oh, where's Julie?" or "Where's Courtney?" or "Where's whoever?" But they adjust like anything, and it's actually quite nice being the only male in a way.
He's got lots of mums and sisters.
They take good care of me.
That is great to hear. And I think, again, there is that, stereotype or misconception that it is a female industry, that, males can't necessarily work in the cashier role at a bank. They've got to be, say, in a role like Simon or something else. They don't have to be yeah, they can't be a cashier. So it's great to see that you're in that role, and for a local, for people to walk in and see your face, it's great. I think it's quite evolved, I guess you could say. Now, Simon, just let us know a little bit more about what you think why more young people should be getting into the industry of banking and accounting.
One, it's well, from a COVID perspective, we're always an industry that's going to be about, so
working from home for you guys.
There's no working from home, so that can be a plus or a minus depending on what your outlook is on that regard. But look, from our perspective, and certainly from my perspective, it's a career that it is what you can make it, and there's so many different opportunities in the banking world. You don't necessarily have to work in a branch, and you may start and come and work locally in a branch and get some experience and understand things and all that sort of stuff. But from there, there's so many different things that you can do. If you pick on our current managing director, Marnie Baker, she was started off in the same position Andrew is now, and she's now the managing director of our business. So there are real life examples of people who have started really quite young in a fantastic organisation, and being able to make a real long-term career out of it in many different paths. And you may work in a branch. We've got a staff member who is moving in a couple of weeks from one of our branches to a different role within the bank that suits her. So, there are many different fantastic career opportunities, not just necessarily working in a branch, but branch, not saying that branch life isn't awesome, it is great.
No, that's awesome. And I think, definitely when I was in high school, working in a bank never would have crossed my mind. Or I would have thought it's, going to be something that I can't grasp. It's just too much math and not going to have the highest data. Do tell us how much math is actually involved with banking. Is it a lot? Do you have to be good at math?
You got calculators.
I love it.
If you've got what Simon has, you'll be fine.
So even if kids out there who are listening in aren't the best at math, but they've got that community spirit, they know that this may be a great opportunity for them. Don't worry, you don't need math. You don't need the craziest data or your uni degree. It just sounds like you just have to have the right work ethic.
That's correct. And there's a lot of in branch and within the company training. So you do go into quite a few training sessions. And all I can say is cash handling skill is the main thing that I would probably suggest getting involved in. And that could be, your local supermarket, your local shop, helping mum and dad out with the local business or helping with that stuff. Or even, using your own money when you go to the bank and stuff like that. It's just all about, those kind of skills. Everything else can be taught. Yeah.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. And thank you guys so much for joining us. It's great to have another perspective on the world of banking and accounting, and really puts to bed some of those, misconceptions. And it's definitely taught me a lot. I've learned a lot, so I'm very, very happy. Thank you guys for taking time out of your busy days.
No, thank you
very much
now
for allowing us to come on.
Big thank you to, of course, the Bendigo Bank at Wallen and Kilmore. Massive shout out to you guys. If you ever need any help with any money or banking, these are your people. Stay tuned for a special National Skills Week episode next week, because that is going to be a very special episode. Please let us know what you think of Come to Work With Me. We've got our quick survey. There's links there. Teachers, there are also lesson plans for all of your students. Other than that, guys, please stay safe, take care, and thank you again.
Thank you. Bye.